something.
One of the aspects when I think of a cult is the invisible gates that are around you that other people not in the cult can't see. So they think, well, why don't you just leave? Why are you so attached to the leader of the cult? But there is this invisible boundary that exists when you're inside, and so it was very cult-like in the sense of the parents are like godlike figures, and you cannot leave the cult or you die. You cannot leave the family or you die. So I can see the analogy, but it was certainly one of those families where secrets were everything.
Kitty played her own part in building and leveraging this evolution of the Menendez mythos.
My mother was very obsessed with image, and particularly the imagery of my father's success was very much used and important by my mother. The whole point was, see, I chose the right husband. We are wealthy. We live in Beverly Hills. My husband's a famous executive. Obviously, I made the right decision.
The brothers felt extreme pressure to perform for their father, to chase the illusion of perfection. As the firstborn son, Lyle was viewed as the heir to José's legacy. He was José's chance to make a more perfect version of himself.
There wasn't any belief that I would just go to college and decide to go and become a journalist and move off to Idaho, to some other place. Like, that was also unimaginable. I just was raised that we would be doing this together. I was looked at as a favorite son. I was raised as a favorite son. I was maybe horribly abused in that process, but that's just part of the training regimen.
Like princess prepared to be king, it's something you should pass. It will be hard, but at some point you will be king.
Yeah, at some point. I mean, probably, that's probably why some cycles of abuse continue, right? I mean, at some point you'll just be as horrible as I am, and you'll have sons of your own, and that's how it'll be. Like, this is what works. There's no question my dad felt like that he was doing what in his belief worked. And it didn't work. And it wasn't correct, right? That's not how you raise a tennis champion or a top student. You can't put that kind of insane stressors. You cannot whip a child with a belt and then expect him to perform really good in a soccer game in 3 hours.
To José, being born a Menendez was only half of the battle. To be a Menendez was an elite status, a privilege given only if you performed.
Sports has a big role in my father's side of the family in history, with his father being a professional soccer player and his mother being a world-class swimmer. Both of them famous for that in Cuba, and so he was talented enough that ended up being his way of getting a scholarship and getting into Southern Illinois University, swimming scholarship. So, hold on one second.
It's okay, no problem. Everything all right? All right? Everything is all right?
They have that loudspeaker. I don't know if that loudspeaker. No, they're just announcing for people for different things, and so I don't know if it interferes with us. For me, for sports, it's just obviously it's sort of complicated because he was so intensely involved in every minutia related to the sporting activity. It really didn't matter what sport it was, whether it was soccer or swimming or tennis. And just unfortunately became just a toxic relationship, really from the time I was able to kick a soccer ball. But my father took it really to an extraordinary level. And then certainly some of our sporting activity was used as an excuse that became sort of grooming for sex abuse when I was in my very early days, 8 years old. And so I don't have a healthy start to any memories related to sports.